Welcome to Shruti Outloud. We are back after quite a while because the whole country was going through so much, and I thought that it would be a right thing to take a break. But we are back today with Nitin, also called Siddharth. So, yes, we are going to address that question. And let's wait for him to join in, and then we'll take this conversation ahead. So basically the topic for today is tarot reading, and if you guys might have any questions regarding the same, please feel free to drop those questions down below and we'll be taking up those questions. Hello China, how are you? Thanks for joining in. Riddhi, thanks. Tarini, thanks. China, thanks. Monica. So let's just wait for Nitin to be a part of this conversation, and then we'll be talking about the world of tarot cards. To be very honest, I have been hearing about it for quite some time. Okay, I'll stop rocking. I just realized that. So, yes. So I have been reading about, and basically it has been crossing my path for quite some time, but I never really experienced it. First of all, I remember that we used to go to this mall near our place, and there would be this lady, and she had these tarot cards, and I always thought that once someday I will sit with her and I will take a reading. So, but anyways, that never happened, obviously. But so I am really glad that we are doing this session today. I came across Nitin and I thought that this would be a very good session to take ahead, and I am also very curious to know about tarot cards, tarot reading. And by the way, one of my readings is also scheduled with him either tomorrow or the day after, and I'm really looking forward to it and what answers I'm going to find. So let's see if he is here. Okay, not yet. Let's wait for a little more while. And till then, yes, this entire coronavirus thing, the COVID thing, it has really taken a toll on so many families, and a lot of people have gone through the upheaval of emotions, and even my family had to go something very, very rough past week. And but the only way is to go ahead, and that's how it is. That's the only way. In life you cannot go backwards, you only keep moving forward. So things come, things change, they really move your emotions, all of that keeps happening, and you always have to just be prepared for it. But also at the same time, I would also like to say that even though if you are very prepared, very much prepared, still you are never prepared for everything. So take life as it comes, and yeah, just live it in the best way possible. So let's see, where is our guest is here, so let's invite him and take this conversation ahead.
Hello.
Hi Siddharth.
Hi. Namaste.
Namaste. So first of all, before hopping on to the questions, I would really like to first of all thank you for agreeing to be a part of this. And I'm really looking forward to this conversation because I am curious about a lot of things, and there are so many questions on my mind that I want to ask you. So thank you so much for agreeing to be a part of this.
Happy to be here. Happy to be here. Thank you so much for inviting. Yeah.
I'm
Tell
really
me.
glad. Okay, so let's start off with our very first question. And I really, really, this is like, I'm very curious about this. So your name, you go by Nitin and Siddharth. So I am a bit, so is Nitin your birth name, and how did you come across Siddharth? So what's the story behind it?
Okay, so of course, Nitin is the name given by my parents, and it's Siddharth is something which came along when there was a new point in my life, and I was starting a new journey in my life. it's also, like when we talk about the spirituality, when we talk about the spiritual path,
Uh-huh.
uh, what the guru does is, like he gives you a new name. And the purpose is because he wants you to, forget the past. He wants to give you a new identity, a new beginning.
Right.
So, Siddharth is something, which came from the master. And this is something which I started initiating myself around 20 years back, 25 years back, actually. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah. So, Nitin was also there, and Nitin
Uh-huh.
was growing at his own pace, and Siddharth was growing at his own pace.
Right. So right now
So,
you are
I'm
some
both.
part
I'm
Nitin
both.
and some part Siddharth.
So whenever Nitin is needed, Nitin comes out. When Siddharth is needed, Siddharth comes out. So probably let's see who is going to be in the maximum, like who is going to cover the maximum time of my life. Yeah.
Right. That's something really like I have never like I know that this is how the pratha or how it is done that your guru gives you a new name because he
Yes.
wants you to start from the scratch. But
Yeah,
yeah,
and
it's
it's not it's also not about the guru. It's just when someone realizes, that you want to start something new. You want to give yourself a new beginning. You
right,
can act, and if you feel, attracted to a particular name
right,
with its qualities, you can just give yourself a new name. You don't really have to wait for it. You don't really
right,
have to wait for the master to give you the name. You can give it to yourself.
right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
All right. So thanks for answering that question. So let's move on to our next question, which is so you said that you started this journey about 20-25 years back. So could you take us back with you in your past a little bit and tell us how did that happen?
See what I have seen so far um, on the path, and now when I what I see now is that the more childlike you are, the more um, innocent you are, it is much easier for you to connect with God. If your brain is very strong, if your mind is very strong, it will be very difficult for you to, you know, connect with the master, because it's with the master or like to fall in love. It's simply like that. You can't fall in love if you are just too much with yourself.
Hmm.
And it's we call it like falling in love. You can only fall when you give yourself up. So when we talk about this journey, it can only happen, you can only progress when you are not really associated with the mind so much. And that gives you, you know, uh, a very beautiful possibility that you can actually connect with the master. So with me, this is what happened, that I was when I see back, from the world's point of view, it will look like I was a very dumb kind of a person, very dumb kind of a guy, because I was like always absent. I was like somewhere else. I was looking for something else. So slowly, you know, as I finished with my studies, I connected with my master Osho, uh, and that's how he came to my life. And after that, like I just you know then whatever the growth happened, it happened because of him. And then all this roller coaster ride, a lot of things happening, a lot of things coming into my life. It's just amazing. If I sit back and think about it, this is not something which you can do by yourself. It just happens. It can only happen out of grace. So whenever someone associate with a master, it's a blessing, and you can only associate out of love, really. Many people, nowadays, they connect with master out of mind, but that is not going to, stay long, because for the simple reason is, at one there will be a point which will come where you're not going to agree with the master. Your mind is going to say, no, no, he's not saying the right thing. But when we connect through the heart says yes to everything, no matter what.
Right.
So that is the way to be in love. That is the way to be with the master. So that is what happened with me in my past. Yeah.
So can I also ask you one thing that did you ever feel this as a child? I mean, I just want to trace your steps back a little further and take you back to your childhood. And did you ever feel that thing where you were looking for answers or something was missing?
Uh, no, I was actually not looking for anything. It
Okay.
was just, it was deep inside, it was just, if I really talk about it, if I really talk about, the raw, what I was looking was to just to be happy. I was just trying to look for, what makes me happy. So, and, uh, and as I said, like it was just happening out of nowhere. If I, if I think about it, if I think about, being with the master, it cannot happen because I was not having those
Hmm.
eyes. I was not having that kind of a brain which can understand.
Right.
So all I can say is that in my case, it was just out of luck, or it was just probably it's the prarabdha, just what we call it, the past birth.
Right.
It could be that reason, that it could have happened.
Hmm.
So I was not looking for anything. All intention was there was to be, happy. For example, like when a when a uh, bird gives birth to its children, okay, and they're they're hungry, they're waiting for the mother to feed them. You should like watch a video. What happens is most of the time they are like shrinked together and they're just sitting, okay. But the moment mother comes and she has come to feed them, they all just become mouth. They just open their
Hmm.
mouth and they just want to be feeded. At that
Right.
time they forget everything.
Huh.
So this is what this is the way I was. Like my mouth was open and I was just drinking out of nowhere, and I was given so much without thinking anything. So, so this is again, I will say that not something that you can make it happen. This is
Hmm.
something it will happen out of grace.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful example that you gave right there. And so, also for the audience, I would like to tell you guys if you guys might have any questions regarding tarot reading, please feel free to drop those questions down below in the comment section and we'll take them up. So, moving on to our next question. Okay, so how did you decide upon the name art and tarot? So, was it
Okay.
more
So
about art or was it more about tarot being the art? How did that happen?
at that time when I started, like around 20 years back, it was a mixture of it was most of um, the time it was I was thinking about art and I was thinking about tarot too.
Okay.
So I was doing a little bit of art and I did like few exhibitions also. But
Oh, nice.
yeah, and but it's just that I it went on for some time, but I couldn't continue. But it went
Okay.
well and all. So I thought I will continue it, but I stopped painting altogether. When I
Oh,
will get time, probably I will start again. But it this never happened, that I couldn't paint after that. And
oh,
yeah, so the thing is, art I was already doing, and this is something new which happened that tarot came into my life. So this was a card, this the deck of cards which was there with me for, probably for so long.
hmm.
Someone gifted to me or something like that. It was there with me.
All right.
And
You
out of
already had it.
nowhere, yeah, out of nowhere, like this was out of my meditation or something like that. I was
Hmm.
sitting and this vision came, that I have to start doing this. And in the next 2 days, I was actually I started doing it. It was something which happened very fast. So then I wanted to make a website,
Hmm.
So we were thinking about different names, and the friend, like was making the website. She
Hmm.
just said this name. So you want to display your art, and you want to display and you want to do your tarot.
Right.
So it has to be, it's a mixture of art and tarot. She just said art and tarot. I said,
Okay.
okay, why not let's keep it art and tarot only. So that's how art and tarot happened. I try to
All right.
keep things as simple as possible, and
Okay.
that's the way it should be. So that's what happened, really. Yeah.
All right. Good to know
Yeah.
about that part. But yes, I would really love to see some of your work when it comes to the paintings, and yeah, and maybe you
Sure.
should get back
I
to
will,
it.
I will, I
It's
will share it with you. I'll share it with you.
all right, perfect. Okay, moving
Yeah.
on to our next question. Okay, so let's dig into the main topic of today, that is tarot reading. So could you tell our audience, our listeners, a bit about what exactly is tarot reading and how does it happen and what really happens?
Okay. So tarot is something which is very uh, it's all around us. We are surrounded with it. Tarot is something, which speaks to us in many different ways. It's like universe talking to you. So when we talk about the cards are very expressive. These are the images,
Hmm.
and images are something, which speaks louder than words. So these are, when you look at the image, it just goes deeper inside of you. You can just associate yourself. I mean, you can actually make a story out of it. But if I just give you one sentence,
Hmm.
you can think about it. You can go deeper into it. But when I see a picture, you can think a thousand things out of it. So tarot speaks to us in pictography. And when you look at the pictures, it is talking to you. It is um, depicting different things. It is giving you symbolism. It is giving you some kind of a message. So when you look at the cards, what happens is, if you're doing it out of meditation, out of if you're relaxed, if you're calm, then what happens is when you're looking at the image, you just disappear and the message just comes out of it. And this is the message which is for you, or which you need to deliver to the person who you're doing it for.
Okay.
So, so if you ask me like how tarot works, tarot has been working in many different ways. The cards, we call it tarot cards, you see.
Okay. Hmm.
So the way of tarot is through the cards. But tarot can also work through, like, for example, you're drinking coffee, for example. So when the leftover which is left, we can
Hmm.
look at the leftover and we can know what kind of person you are and what is going to happen. This is
Yeah.
also something, yeah. So,
Oh.
for example, you go to a big library and you pick up
Hmm.
one book and you just open it up, just open any random page. You'll feel like, the book is talking to you. That is also done. So,
Oh.
so,
Okay. So I
so
had no idea about this part.
yeah. So you must have felt something, It's called a synchronization, Like you're thinking of a
Right.
friend and that friend calls you. A
Right.
message comes. So it's the
Also the
sync
numbers.
with the universe.
Hmm.
Yes. So so tarot is something which is very expressive, which just gives us the message very clearly because the images are profound, they are very clear. They're talking to you. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I had so for me, tarot had been just about the cards. But yes, now that you are mentioning it, so just to quote it, I am a huge Harry Potter fan. So even in that, the thing you just mentioned that when you're drinking something, so there's a section where this professor she talks about the tea leaves, reading the tea leaves. So I think that
Yes,
is the same.
that is also related. Yes, that is also related. You know, you. in everything, in because the way an individual is, he will leave his signs, the leftover of your food which you have eaten, you can depict, you can talk about the person, what kind of person you can talk about the person looking at his feet or the slippers which he's wearing, so so you just need to like look deeper. The existence is talking to you in many 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 ways, and tarot is one of the simplest, because it is difficult to read the cup of coffee. It is difficult to read the the sleepers which you are wearing, but it is much easier to read the tarot because it is very clear. It
Hmm.
connects with your subconscious mind, and it translates what
Hmm.
is actually going on. So that's what the magic of tarot is. Yeah.
Wonderful. So from this part, I have two questions. So one is that you mentioned that basically, it's about the message that you receive as a tarot reader, that you receive from the universe for whosoever you are doing the reading for. And you said that you have to be in that meditative state. So it might be a little personal question, so it's okay if you don't want to answer it. But do you
No, that's it.
usually get into, like, do you usually meditate before reading the cards for someone, or are you most of the time in a meditative state? I mean, it's, yeah, I'm
Universe is
curious this
talking.
part.
Universe is talking to everyone. It is talking to everyone and it's trying to give message, not only to tarot reader. It is giving you a message to everyone. It's just that
Okay.
how much receptive you are. You see,
Hmm.
and the person who is asking the question about like if he wants to know things about through tarot, that person is not able to get the answer because he is too occupied in his mind. If this person is in his body, if he's too much into his heart, he will not need any kind of a reading because there is the guidance which is happening through the heart.
Right.
So when you talk about the heart is something, you are connected with the universe, and universe is already guiding you. So so with so in order to really interpret, we will need you to be quiet. We will need you to be like a medium which can be used, a hollow medium,
Right.
and while you meditate, you it becomes easier for this process to happen, because when you sit in meditation, it is very easy for you to get messages to
Hmm.
because you are connected to that source,
Right.
and when once you are connected to that source, you will get the right direction and the right message for yourself here.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that this conversation is going so well, and I am getting so many questions. I'm curious about so many things. So, like, you are the medium and you receive the messages, but does it happen with you that possibly you receive some message and you don't convey it, or do you always prefer conveying the same for whosoever that message might be? It might not be through the tarot card reading, it might just have happened. And how do you what's your approach on that?
See, this is something, it's a kind of a responsibility, once you are doing this kind of a thing,
Right.
it's not, it's, you just have to, be mature enough what you have to talk about and what you don't have to mention. There are
Okay.
there are astrologers, there are predictors, who probably they see things, and they just tell you, like this person is going to die very soon.
Hmm.
This is going to happen, that is going to happen, that accident is going to happen. These are the things, which they say. You see, I might also get these kind of, messages, but I try not to deliver them only unless and until they are very, very necessary. Because many times what I do is, if I see that this is what is it is coming to, this is what is going to happen, then I kind of, give this person, whatever I can do it from my end so that this doesn't happen. this
Okay.
person doesn't go in that direction.
All right.
So, so it's a kind of a responsibility. You have to talk about things which can inspire him, which can help him in his journey. Don't talk about things, which can just bring more tension in his life, because
Hmm.
life is already tense. Life is already, it's very difficult to be in. Somehow people are coping, somehow they're living, and you went to this astrologer or a tarot reader in hope that you will, get some way out of it, and but this person tells you negative things. So I don't, talk about the black. I mostly talk about the white. I would prefer, flowers instead of, you know, hell.
Yeah.
So that's what my approach is.
Okay.
Uh, Talk about the positive, and even if there is negative, the positive will. We have to, make the positive strong. The negative will automatically, the power will go down. The way is not really to deal with the negative. You can't really, fight with the negative. You always have to remember this, because negative is
Hmm.
very, very, very powerful. It is even more powerful than the positive. It's a
Hmm.
very weird thing to say, but that's how things are. For example, if you're wearing a white dress and I have just one small black paint, a little bit, I can spoil it if I
Right.
want to.
Very true.
So
Hmm.
it's very powerful when we talk about the negative things. The way of dealing with the negative is not to give too much of importance to it.
Okay.
It's time, when the time comes, the negative will leave from your life.
All right.
What is important is, and negative is also something, it is there because of your past, because of your karma, because you have lived. A time will come when it will go away, the more you make your positive strong. So, yeah,
All right. Thanks for answering that. And I have one more question apart from the list of questions that I have, but I'll take it towards the end because I want to cover the rest of the questions first. And if the time allows, then I will come back to this one.
sure.
So, okay. So my next question is that who is this? Who in how do I frame this question? So basically, who is tarot reading for? Like, who are the people who can go for this?
Anyone, anyone who is looking for a message. Tarot,
Okay.
for me, I have come to a stage where I've, come across that you don't have to ask me anything and I will just give you the message. That's
Okay.
how that's how it has become.
All
That
right.
many times, people just come blank. They don't have any questions. They say, we have nothing to ask. You can
Hmm.
just tell us whatever you want to.
Yeah.
And in that case, what happens is I just give them the message, whatever needs to be told.
All
I
right.
tell them all sorts of things, whatever our guards are trying to tell me. And so anyone can make use of it.
Okay.
And it's just that what is important is you should be able to be open about it. You
Right.
should you should
Absolutely.
approach it with an open heart, not with doubt or
Hmm.
already, if you're not really want it, you should not have it.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Like you
that's
should
the
be
way.
open for it. If you are going for it, then be
Go
open
with,
for the to receive it.
yeah, I mean, if you're already doing it, just enjoy the process.
Yeah.
Why, if you're already having doubt on, I don't think, it is going to work, better not do it.
Right. Absolutely.
Because it will not work then. Because that's how, because what is, the things are, it, whatever happens, it happens because you believe in it. If you don't believe in it, it doesn't happen.
Right. Very true.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So moving on to our next question. So let's get into a little like the related topic, but a little bit different. So I want to talk to you about spirituality and what are your thoughts about it, and basically, yeah, please go.
Spirituality is not something which you go to the temple or gurdwara or do specific certain kind of things. Spirituality is a process. It happens with time, and the way to start the spiritual process is just by being as honest as possible. And as your honesty grows more and more and more, you will see that you will start becoming spiritual without any effort. That's how it is. The spiritual process is such that this, we call it spirit. It's like, more than the body. So if you have to connect to that kind of a dimension,
Hmm.
you have to, Patanjali, Saint Patanjali, he is the father of yoga. He
Hmm.
has taken out this eightfold path. He says he has laid down these eight steps. If you follow these steps, automatically, he says yam, niyam, asan, pranayam, dhyan, uh, all these, and it goes till samadhi.
Right.
So once you start following the process is such that it makes your life more disciplined. It makes your life, you know, you will eradicate all whatever is not necessary from your life, and you will feel more connected to your own self. And in this process, what happens is you start becoming more and more spiritual, and and in the end, what happens is you connect. You are part of the universe. You see that the universe is inside of you.
Hmm.
So that's what the master is. The master becomes the universe. The master is is someone who is in the body, but yet he is not in the body. There is there is no personality which is there. He's gone. It's just the God which is sitting inside of him. It's a very tricky way to be. The way we are is, we are in the body, but we are in the body because of our desires. And you can't be in the body if you don't have any desires.
Right.
So when we talk about the master, master has to, invent a desire to be in the body, because it is very difficult for the master to be in the body because there is no desire left.
Right.
So somehow he has to, make a desire, and somehow forcefully he has to, retain his body. Otherwise, the body will evaporate the moment there are no desires. This body
Hmm.
is given to you because you have vasana, you have desire. It's because
Right.
of that it is still there. So, the way we are right now, we are like, there are unlimited desires which are there, and only when you start working towards it, the spiritual process is that only. What I feel is that slowly you have to burn those desires. You have to, live those desires so that you become more and more and more close to your own self, or to God, or to nature, whatever you want to call it. That's what I feel the spirituality is all about.
Right. All
Yeah.
right. So that was a very wonderful way of answering this, and I think it will help a lot of people, a lot of listeners, our audience to understand and possibly, proceed in this path ahead. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was saying, that you really don't have to do anything special about it.
Right.
What is important is that you don't have to go to Gurdwara, you don't have to go to, a mandir or church or anything special you have to do. The only
Right.
thing what is important, the spiritual process starts with where you are. For example, right now you just, like watching movies, for example,
Mhm.
or you just, you know, like doing something particular. Do that, but do that with all that intensity, with all your involvement, and you will see
Mhm.
the spiritual process already starts. It is not going to start only when you go to the mandir or if you
Yeah.
meditate. It starts the moment wherever you are,
Mhm.
because that is how God is, because it is sitting inside of you. You are God yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right.
So when you
So,
start doing
mhm.
things which you want to do, that's the start of being honest. Like, yeah, that's the process. Yeah, tell me. Yes.
All right. So, okay, so next question is going to be very interesting. And so we have been seeing a lot of youth are watching the videos of Sadhguru. So if you see,
Yeah,
Sadhguru is everywhere in everybody's life. Like, I think I started noticing it last year, or maybe it started happening more last year. I don't know which is the right answer, but
it's
somehow
a very
I
good
even,
PR.
uh-huh.
It's a very good PR. But I'm very happy that he's everywhere,
Yeah,
because
he's like everywhere. Everybody
when
you talk to, youngsters, 16-year-old, 24-year-old, 34-year-old, just every age
it's a
group, he's
it's a
everywhere.
blessing.
So,
It's a blessing. It's a blessing, and it's it's someone who is in the it's almost you can say like it's the Shiva in his body. That's how he is, and I've seen him like so close. You know, sat at his feet. So it's a blessing.
oh,
I know him. Yeah, I've even went
okay,
to Last
I'm
Master
really
over.
sorry to interrupt you right there. So I just
Yeah.
want to ask you, what was that feeling being so close to him? Because this is something that we everybody just thinks of. So I really want to know what was that feeling that you had at that point.
See, the my journey started with Osho, and
Hmm.
it was always a desire to, deep inside, I wanted to see Osho in his body,
Hmm.
and because he was a beautiful master, and but yes, the process still goes on, but there was still a very strong desire, I wanted to see the master in the body, So it is going to be very strange. I connected with Sadhguru around 10 years back when he was not known to in many people.
Right.
I just came across, one book, and I still feel, it's very surprising, that I only saw his photograph. That's
Hmm.
it. And when I looked at the photograph, there was something inside of me which was very clear, like he's the master. It
Okay.
was so clear. And then I started reading his books. At that time, there was no YouTube.
Hmm. Hmm.
I mean, YouTube was there probably, but he was not really too much
Right.
into it.
Right.
So as I went deeper and deeper into it, there were no words. So I wanted to connect to him as much as possible, and and because of his blessing, I was able to come near him and be a
Hmm.
part of it. But yeah, it's if you're asking me, like how do I feel? It's like everything for you, when the master is with you. And when you are with the master, you have to take a jump. You have to forget yourself. You have to be the way the master is. It's not easy to be.
Right.
It's very difficult to be with a living master because he will just, beat you up from up and down, left and right, everywhere, because he will not let your mind be, like the mind cannot exist there. When we talk about the mind, you have to just understand one small thing is mind is not something which is you, it is not real. It is an accumulation of thoughts which is from the family, from the books which you have read, the movies you have seen. The
Right.
accumulation of thoughts is the mind, So when you are with the real master, he will not allow your mind to be. He will allow your heart to be. So that's why, like Jesus says, only children like can enter into the kingdom of my God, kingdom of God. I mean, not someone who is not like a child, he will not be able to enter.
Right.
So it's a complete experience, it's a beautiful experience. There are people, and it's a blessing, that young people are, part of this. Generally, like even at the time of Osho, young people were there. And that's
Hmm.
the sign of the master, I feel, that the young people will be part of the master here.
Hmm.
And it's also blessing in many, many ways because he is doing everything in whatever is possible. He's using all the modern technology so
Right.
that, his message can reach you.
Right.
He's in your Instagram, he's in your,
Yes.
Facebook
Twitter,
page.
YouTube, everywhere.
He's everywhere and it's a blessing.
And even
So,
on Quora.
yeah, he's everywhere and that's beautiful.
Yeah.
So, even make sure, that at least some part of spirituality, comes into your life. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm.
All right. So our next question is about so we know that you do the tarot card reading. So what other than this do you also offer to help people to give them the messages? What are the other ways?
So when I'm doing the reading, like there are many, many different sources, which I'm using. I'm using astrology in it. I'm using numerology in it. Also, I'm using psychology in it. And it takes, a certain kind of position and experience, when you really want to help someone. You can only help someone only if you have that kind of, if you have lived your life. It's out of life experience you will be able to, give the other person a direction. And tarot is a mystical tool because it can just make things clear for many, many people. Um, if you are confused about, choosing direction A and B, the tarot can just tell you, choose this direction. This is going to be good for you. And
Right.
this answer is also something which is coming from, you within. It's actually the answer which is sitting in the quadrant, the person who is asking the question, because the answer is coming from his deep subconscious.
Right.
What tarot reader is doing is he's just, being like a mirror. He's just showing you, like this is what you want. So
Hmm.
choose this path. So what I use is I use whatever options are available in whatever way I can help. I just use that options to make, uh, give my best to the person. Yeah. Hmm.
All right. Next question is just about letting people know how to get in touch with you, how to basically connect with you for booking a reading or whichever way. So, what is the best way to do that?
I'm available everywhere. I cannot be like everywhere like Sadhguru, but I try to be everywhere as much
Right.
as possible. Contact me on Instagram, phone, WhatsApp, whatever medium. I
Right.
also have a website, and let me tell you guys, it's this beautiful lady has built this website for me, tarottarot.in by Shruti. Thank you
Right.
so much. So of course, people can reach my website too, and yeah, I guess in whatever way you can reach me, I will be there, and I will respond.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, Siddharth, it was such a pleasure talking to you about all of these things and your journey. And okay, so I have one last question.
Sure, sure, sure.
So, how can people is like can anybody learn this art or how is it? Because there are uh, so many courses that are being offered, and even you teach a course regarding the same. So, could you tell a bit about that part?
Um, if you're talking about like tarot learning, anyone can do it. What is most important is before learning, it's you should feel attracted to that thing, If you're feeling that attraction, if you're feeling that invitation inside, then you should go for it.
Okay.
And it could be anything. It could be anything. You should feel some kind of a tingling inside of you, that this is something which you want to do. And
Hmm.
once you want to do it, what happens is there are sources, the universe responds back. And universe tells you, like this is the way. You can approach this, you can do that. So whether it's a negative way or whether it's a positive way, whatever you want, universe just gives you back for because for the universe it is not negative and positive. It is only for you, It is
Hmm.
just going to fulfill your wishes. वो शाहरुख खान का डायलॉग है ना, वो बड़ी शिद्दत से ये वो फ्लावर खाना।
Yeah.
तो जो
हाँ,
भी आप चाहो आपको वो मिल जाता है।
right.
Anything you want. So if you want to learn tarot, yes, there is, the sources will open up, the master will appear, the books will appear, everything, the
Will
path will
start
be shown.
showing.
Yeah. So it will be given to you if you like.
Okay, perfect. I
Okay.
think I'm done with my set of questions and everything that I wanted to ask you.
Cool.
And thank you so very much once again for being a part of this. And it was a wonderful conversation.
Same here. Thank you for inviting. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right, guys. Again, it was an amazing session. It was an amazing conversation. And the episode will be available on Instagram, on IGTV. And the video will also be available on YouTube. There would be snippets from the episode, and the audio as a podcast will be on Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Ghana.com, and Amazon Music. And it was so nice to meet you all here, and thanks for being a part of this. Yeah, I'll see you for the next episode. Whenever something lines up, I'll post it on the stories, on the post, and you can be a part of this. Thank you.